Hi guys, welcome back to Disloyal Order. Today I'm going to be catching up on Vincent's tale. So since the last reaction, 2 videos have come out, The Bedroom and Starry Night. So today we'll be checking out The Bedroom, and then very soon, I promise, I'll get that Starry Night reaction out for you guys. I'm really excited to see what he's been working on. I'm still pretty early in my Ren journey, I guess. I've only heard the big hits, but I'm excited to see kind of where this one's going, because I think Vincent's tale was my favorite out of everything I've heard so far. I just thought it was really cool, so hopefully we keep that going and it's a good vibe. If you don't know me, my name's Rosie and I'm a music journalist and critic, and you can find my website Disloyal Order linked down below. Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. Vincent's tale, The Bedroom. We're in prison, okay. Woo! Yes. Yes. I don't think I've heard Ren play an electric guitar yet, so I'm loving this. Sorry, I just got briefly interrupted. Let's continue. I love that tone, it's gritty.
Anger. Have you ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below. Same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that.
Okay.
The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contort insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark, home birth to a mother painted scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white in the palm. Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, sprayed with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, funny Vinny. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking. Started a combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt, the debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun. A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, how Britannia ruled the wave. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living too DK.
I don't think we are in a prison, you know. Is it like a mental institution?
And so it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking, cause when he don't drink, every day is a day on death row. So he drinks so we don't have to think. Mercy. Days bittersweet. When the spirit that's inside of him sinks in his teeth, and the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober. Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold prison deep in alcoholism. 40% proof, no juice. Inhibition get loose by decision and taboos. When we're living for the booze, who's who he lose himself to? One too many, 1, 2, 3 shots down. Drown those sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle. Now it's Vinny boys round.
Oh, sure. Oh. Richard's Tale, huge. Oh my god, are we getting it?
Sirens start singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance. Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up.
Fuck with this.
What fast, pull this socks up, chop chop. Keep that credit top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly special, Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned a hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash, copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope, some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity.
Oh my
the
god.
One where we elect these lying pests with God ability. 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1. Our boy spun his own web-fed tarantulas come like 9 to the 9 to the 9. Through his crimes tying lines into set. Richard's fate was designed.
Is this Screech?
Picture set the scene, it's 2019. Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Falls a model, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself. And there's nowhere to go. When his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy, regularly seem to plateau. When his popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no mono rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never closed, cause the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when the mother died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of samsara always was quite amusing. Brother killed his sister, but the records seem to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe. The fate fucked up. Richard's losing sleep while his whole family's talked up. The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul. 1. Denial, pretending for a while, reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile, how to reconcile when murdering a child. The 2nd stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger down the man that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we are all are damn forsaken by creation. Revelations Richard cannot stand. The 3rd stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. I'll devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression, that's a lesson taught in grief. Depression, demonic like possession, that feeds upon this spark for life. No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression. Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
Oh, switch up.
Souls get shaken up. The road's never quite ideal, but slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud. Cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was set for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections, what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel, truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear, a stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier, a scholar of life's sorrow, and day follows day. There will always be tomorrow when it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy, to get to work and deploy. Serve and protect my don, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on. We're all proud of you, Richie. I hope you get out there and smash it. I mean, what could go wrong?
Well, yes. God, there's a lot to unpick there. So, starting with the bedroom, Vincent's tale of the bedroom, that kind of hit a bit because, I mean, I had a really bad drinking problem in my first year of uni, which was how long ago? 5 years ago, to the point where I was like drinking from like 8 in the morning till like 3 in the morning, and then barely sleeping, and then waking up still drunk and never getting hungover because I never had a chance to be sober. It was an actual issue because you do kind of get into like a monotonous kind of like cycle. When you start, it is really hard to stop. Even now, like, I don't drink very often now, but when I do, I definitely go a bit too overboard, which I think is relatively normal for people my age, but just with a history isn't great, and I probably do need to just stop drinking. But I'm going to go into the lyrics and have a proper look, and then we'll talk about Richard's tale. Okay. Have you ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Someone's left a comment on this. I'm just going to give it a quick read. Parallel line and its delivery to Have You Ever Felt Pain on track 7 Sins from Sick Boy album. Interesting. Okay, I haven't heard that one yet. So this is interesting. It's look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside. Never look within, without, above, below, same thing. So looking for the new thing, but it's kind of like having like blinders on, like horses. Like you're not only are you not looking in, but you're not looking in your peripheral at all, at anything that kind of orbits you as an issue or as a solution. So this about Vincent being born to a mother who I assume had a drug issue with shooting up, with the scars on her arm and the trap marks. What does this mean? From the dragon, China White. Chasing the dragon and China White are both synonyms for heroin, sure. Shooting up the birth canal is crazy visual. And then it says Vinny fell out like a yarn, tumbled out himself, unraveling, which paints like a picture of, I mean, I don't need to say it, but also like it's kind of metaphorical for the start, like unraveling at the start of your life, and it just gets worse and worse and looser the older you get. And that was the theme. From fire to frying pan. My mother-in-law said this saying the other day, don't go from fire to frying pan or frying pan to fire, which I think is such a cool saying. Out of the frying pan and into the fire is the technical idiom. Is a situation where someone moves from a bad or difficult circumstance to one that is even worse, often while attempting to escape the initial problem. But this time it's fire to frying pan, not frying pan to fire. So was his life getting better? I guess so. From fire to frying pan, painting it green when it's the cash that rules everything around me. So going from like a childhood where your mother is a heroin addict, maybe it was starting to look up and then it kind of dropped off. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most of your life. That line's crazy because that's so true. At least to me, I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm in a bad place right now. And then this is interesting, talking about Hail Britannia, Britannia rule the waves, which is then followed by the Brits will never be slaves. I mean, that's a very like colonial idea, isn't it? But looking at it in this context, we've all just become people that kind of work and graft for our jobs, and then we do it the same every day. Like I said this, I believe, in the original Vincent's Tale, or the first one I reacted to. It's kind of like you go to work, you come home, you eat, you might do a bit of a hobby, and then you go to bed, and then you do it again. And even on the weekends, that's spent like doing all your, I don't know, housework, or going to the bank, or going to the shops. And it's like, when do you have a chance to do things for you? And we are kind of just slaves in the idea that you go and you earn someone else money, essentially, in their business, and then you take home a menial cut of that for the amount that you contribute. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. And then this with like the current cost of living crisis, especially in the UK, it's not great. And what helps you is what kills you. Obviously, dealing with like alcoholism and just addiction in general is tough. But from when, like me 5 years ago, I couldn't think to do anything else. Like, I really struggled. I was in a really bad place mentally. And drinking was like the only way I forgot about it. It was the only reason I slept, really, was because if I passed out, it was not good at all. And I think had I let it gone on any longer than it did, that could have been an issue. And what helps you also kills you when you're living to decay. So I've thought about this a lot. There's slight U-turn over here. There's a My Chemical Romance song called Disenchanted, and in that song they say you have a lifelong wait for a hospital stay. And it's like you just keep doing the same thing. You're on this like path and this road, and you're so dissatisfied with your life that you're kind of just waiting for the inevitable, right? And so it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking, because when he doesn't drink, every day is a day on death row. So, I mean, basically, when you are drinking in this scenario, that is your day on death row, right? There's only so many days that your body can take with that kind of like substance in it. But not having, I'm gonna get emotional in a second, I'm actually really sorry, not having that to support you, or support you is probably not the right word. It's just like, sorry, okay, I'm getting really upset actually. Getting like, I don't know, suicidal sober. Like, this one actually really fucks me up. I think this is the first of the Ren songs where I've been like choked, I think. And then, sorry, this line, when the spirit that's inside of him sinks in his teeth. So the spirit's inside of you. I mean, he said before in the tale, Jenny and Screech, that the devil is inside of them. So he's kind of got this like theme going around, but also spirit as in spirits, as in alcohol. It's all very well pieced together. And then if we're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. So like going all the way, like just fully committing to it. Someone said that's a very British saying. I didn't know that was a British saying. Is that a British saying? Do you guys know what that means? In for a penny, in for a pound? And then of course we had Richard's Tale. Just while I've got you here, I'm trying to reach 100,000 followers on TikTok, so if you could go pop me a follow, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the lyrics that are in the YouTube comments that you put, because they're all scattered about in genius. So we go back to Richard's Tale from Jenny and Screech. This is interesting. So, stand on my Miranda. The reason I gasped, my middle name's Miranda and I just never hear it, and I was gagged, but it's talking about your Miranda rights. So having the right to remain silent, having the right to an attorney. Stand on my Miranda. My right to remain violent, we've gone back to with the original Vincent's Tale. God, now I'm getting my songs mixed up. Where feeling like you have a right to be violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. That's kind of like the saying, like, one man's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. I think that's an interesting way to look at it, with resistance and tyrant. And then here, not particularly special, Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil, kind of going back to the spirit in him again. And then I love this. I love a literature reference in music. Any songs that have a literature reference, please comment them down below, because I'm a big reader, and I just think it's really fun. But turned our hide into a Jekyll. Turned our hide into the Jekyll. Am I am I not remembering Jekyll and Hyde correctly? So Jekyll and Hyde, spoiler alert if you haven't read it or watched it and you want to, then probably skip ahead a little bit. But in Jekyll and Hyde, it's like you follow the story of two men, and one is like a functioning member of society and the other one's a murderer, and the whole plot is that they're actually the same person, and it's about like the psyche and the duality of man. But I thought Hyde was the murderer and Jekyll was the good guy, but maybe I'm not remembering that right. Yeah, Hyde is the murderer. Okay, so turning our Hyde into a Jekyll. So you'd want to turn the murderer into like a functioning member. I guess so, if that's like the whole idea of like rehabilitation in prison, right? But I feel like that's, I don't know, maybe it's just a little hiccup in lyrics. This is interesting. Being a victim of society, the one that serves you alcohol then sells you your sobriety, the one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity, the one where we elect these lying pests with gullibility. So as a whole, like a view on society, I think it's really interesting. The one that serves you alcohol then sells you your sobriety. It's like, it'll get you hooked, it'll make you, like the kind of society you live in will make you like ruin your life just so it can then benefit from making you better. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like America's a bit like that with their medical system. I'm actually not going to go into that because I talked about America in the last video, and some of y'all were horrible. And this I'm far less researched on than I was in that video, so I'm not even going to take this shit from y'all. Anyway, let me know what you think of that short take. And then this was fun, 9 to the 9 to the 9 for his crimes. Obviously 999 is our emergency phone number in the UK. And then we go back to the tale of Screech, which is so interesting. And they're talking about how Richard was so like haunted with the memory of murdering or killing or whatever you want to call it, Screech, that he then turned to alcoholism, hitting the bottle to soften the blow. When the war's with yourself, then there's nowhere to go is such a line. What a line. And his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. If you needed a sign today, this is your sign right now to reach out to a mate and check in. I think this is a massive issue. I'm not sure what it's like in the police, but I know it's a big issue with like men that I know, at least, that they don't check in on their fellow friends and men, which you definitely should. So this is your sign right now. Text one of your mates, ask how they're doing, ask to meet for a pint. Maybe that's not the right thing to say with this song, but... And then he talks about how the case was never closed because the motive was confusing. There was this up in the air of he killed his sister. So was it something to do with like a sibling rivalry? But then it came out that they had never met and they didn't know, and they can't like get the closure they need on the case in total. And I don't know what this is. The cycle of samsara. Samsara? Samsara is the continuous, often painful cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, reincarnation, central to Hinduism, Buddhism, and other Indian religions. Oh, so they're saying because the mother died in childbirth, children were born and then die. Okay, interesting. Then we go into the 5 stages of grief. I like that the way he's described denial is reality retired. Like you kind of, I don't know, you're not even like considering that it's a possibility. You're going completely in on yourself. I really like that. Second stage is anger. Damn the man that served the hand that wrote the plan, which would be God, right? If God has will that's good and grand, then damn we are all damned. Yeah, I think this is, I've said it before in a REM reaction, I believe. It's a REM reaction, that I've always had quite a complicated relationship with religion, and this is like part of like the, I don't know, like the discussion I have with myself when I think about it, is that God has a plan even when things really horrible go on and people say like, it's God's plan, it's going to, whatever happens is what's supposed to happen, it's to work out. But there's so many horrible things that happen within that it's like God's plan should, like, why is that the plan? Why me, right? Why me? Why Richard? Why Screech? Why Jenny? Why Vinny? and if God has will that's good. So, okay, oh God, this is making me think. So he said, God's got the plan, and if God has will that's good, then we're damned. Because if God's will is good, and yet all these horrific things are happening to everyone in the world, then either that means God's will does not consider people to also have good outcomes, or it's like, is that the best it gets? Does God have goodwill, and good is only so good, and that's the measurement of it, and we're all fucked because there will always be some sort of pain or suffering, or let me know what you think. Stage 4 is depression. That's a lesson taught in grief. That's so interesting. No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. Yeah, I mean, that's like hollowness, right? You're just kind of like Vincent was, like just going every day, just waiting for the end. And then stage 5 is acceptance. The souls get shaken up. The road's never quite ideal, but slow rise dust it off. And then to Richie, he pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open, weeping. Most demons are a fallen angel, like God, who was Lucifer as a falling angel? Became Lucifer by plummeting from the heavens. Truth has double meanings, so you can both be demon and fallen angel. The biggest curse you'll ever faced could be your greatest blessing. I think that's a really good just line to have as a philosophy in your life. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. It's like burnt toast theory. So there's this theory on like TikTok, I've heard it on, where if you burn toast in the morning and you have to make a new slice of toast, that's fine, because taking the time to make that new slice of toast could have prevented you from like getting in a car accident when you left for work, right? So everything inconvenient or bad that happens to you happens for a reason, which to put you on a path in life, which I think that just goes back to like God's plan though, doesn't it? We're getting into it. And no path is ever linear. A stumble leads to stepping. So you're not always going to be like running forward, right? You will stumble, but it leads to like catching yourself and getting back up there. That was crazy. That was really good. I think that was my favourite Ren song so far. 1000%. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, like, and if you're on mobile, give the hype button a click. And very soon I'll be reacting to the next Vincent's Tale, so stay tuned. I'm going to be filming it right after this, so it will be coming out very soon. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Rosie Miranda Rivers, and if you want to follow me on TikTok, I'm also Rosie Miranda Rivers on there. If you'd like to follow Disloyal Order, we are Disloyal Order Online on Instagram and Disloyal Order on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.